Welcome to the Marriage and Motherhood Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Perda. I'm a life and marriage coach for moms, wife, mom of 3, and I'm also an Aries, and for my fellow human design nerds, a sacral manifesting generator. This podcast is for women who want to be happier in their marriage as they navigate their journey through motherhood, even if you're like me and you weren't shown how while growing up. Inside, we're going to be talking about breaking generational cycles when it comes to how to handle conflict in healthy ways, redefining motherhood your way, and prioritizing your well-being, because here, we believe that women don't have to sacrifice their happiness to be a great mom. And a quick note to mamas listening with kids around, you may want to pop your earbuds in because nothing is left unsaid on this show, which means there may be times where something I say isn't meant for little ears. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Marriage and Motherhood Podcast. I'm super excited because this episode is one where I interview one of my business besties, Marisa Lonic. So this is our first interview of a guest expert for the show. And what better topic to tackle than time management? Marisa's so good at this, and I cannot wait for you to hear all the advice and all the tips that she shares because, ladies, she's generous on this episode. So without further ado, here we go. Hey, Marisa, I am so excited to have you here, to have you be a guest and like share all your time management expertise with me, because I mean, I got 3 kids and I feel like I'm barely hanging on sometimes. So I'm like so thrilled to have you as the first ever guest on this show. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I am equally as excited to be here and honored I am the first guest. Thank you.
Woohoo! All right. So can you share with us where you live, how old your kids are, and what you do?
Yes, I live in the Bay Area in California, originally from New York. I have 4 kids, 4 boys. They are ages 8, 4, and 2. And what I do, I am the founder of an organization called Mama Work It, where we support women in the juggle of mom life, work life, wife life, fill in the blank life. I'm an author, a speaker, and a time management and productivity coach.
So you're a lot of things.
We all wear a lot of hats, you know?
Yeah, totally. And let's not let this slip under the radar. She's a twin mom, ladies.
Twin mom, yes.
Like that in itself is such an achievement. Like if you're a mom of multiples, like I don't know how you do it. You're amazing. And that's all I gotta say. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the beginning was definitely like, you're not dipping your toe in motherhood. You're like diving into an ice cold pool.
Yeah. Yeah. A cold plunge and you're not ready for it. I love it. All right. So can you let me know or share with us what led you to become someone who helps moms with time management and all the things that you do?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is really my personal journey. So when I became a mom, like anybody who becomes a mom, it is a transition. You have a lot to learn. I had twins the first time around, so I feel like my learning curve was extra steep. And of course, you figure it out and you make it work. And I did. And I was a working mom, and I still am a working mom. But, I was working in a corporate environment at the time and went back to work 4 months after the babies were born, and, had to really like level up the time management, the efficiency to make it all work. And also, when you're a mom of multiples, I think your only way to survive is to be pretty militant about a schedule there. Otherwise, you're just always feeding a baby or changing a baby or never sleeping. So, I got really good at that during that time. And it was always an area of my life that I think I was fairly good at, but something was off. I was feeling like the hot mess express, even though from the outside in, people looking in were like, wow, she's got it all under control and her life looks all put together. Like I didn't feel it that way internally. And I think a lot of moms probably feel the same.
Yeah. And I'll raise my hand up for that.
Totally. Right. And what happened was, in addition to motherhood, like I'm obviously a person, a woman, right? A wife, a human being. And I'm ambitious and I really wanted to be growing in my career professionally, but I also wanted to show up as the best possible mom because I think we can all agree that is like job number one, priority number one, most important thing that we do. And I didn't know how to make that happen. And so I was offered a job promotion at the time. I was super excited about it. And then as soon as I got really excited, as fast as that happened, I quickly got really nervous and scared because I was like, how am I going to manage my time if I've got like a bigger job, a longer commute? This was, by the way, on the opposite side of the country. So it would require our whole family to move cross country. And I originally turned down the opportunity because I was just so paralyzed by fear in that area. Quickly regretted that decision and made it happen.
Which I'm glad you did, because otherwise we would not have met. Because I actually know Marisa in person. Like I've met her in person before.
I know. Well, it all works out for a reason, you know? So we did move. I did take on the job. And what I realized when I got to the West Coast, when I took on this new role, is that it wasn't necessarily harder to manage my time in this capacity. It was just different. It was just different, as with any transition in life. And I got really good at being intentional with my time. I got really good at maximizing efficiency, and I got really good at prioritizing what was important to me. And part of what was important to me was growing in my career. So it led me to lots of moms asking me, like, how do you have time to do all those things? I had a blog at the time. I was blogging for working moms, and I was pretty sane, honestly, juggling all this stuff. And that's what really led me to start Mama Work It and to help moms in that space from feeling kind of overwhelmed, unfulfilled, fill in the blank, into feeling really empowered in how they manage their time and live their life. Because to me, it all comes down to what you do with your time. Like time is an equal opportunity employer. We all have the same amount of it. And it's really about what we do with it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I need this for myself. Because I'm not very regimented with my time. I love flow. And I think you've learned that about me. And so I've accepted that sometimes too much flow can mean a lot of chaos. And so I'm really glad you're here because you are way more, strategic minded than I am. And I'm really excited to learn from you about like what you share with your clients and in your audience on how they can really experience life for what it is instead of feeling overwhelmed and stressed out all the time. So with that said, I know you call yourself the time momager.
I do.
Can you share what that means? And I love that play on words, by the way.
Yeah, I absolutely will. And I just want to say really quick, this is why you and I get along so well. Because like, right, like I'm on this end and you're on that end. So you balance me with that flow and I balance you with that strategy. So I think you need a little bit of both in your life.
For
Otherwise,
sure.
You're too one-sided there. But yeah. So time management, time momager. So this is a concept that I came up with when I was writing my first book, which is called Time Management: How to Get the Time You Need to Do the Things You Want. And I don't know about you, I get my best ideas when I'm in the shower. So I was in the shower and I was like racking my brain, like, what am I going to call this book? I was kind of in the middle of writing it and, the title hadn't come to me. And I would always like play on words like time management. It sounds so boring because like, to be honestly, when I hear time management and I'm a freaking time management and productivity coach, I feel like that sounds kind of rigid and boring and strict. Yeah. And like, I shy away from that a little bit. So I didn't want the book to have that sort of vibe because it doesn't. And that's not how I coach and teach anyway. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? Managing your time as a mom is really different than managing your time as like a regular old Joe Schmo, like it's really different because we're already doing so many things productively and well for so many people around us. And we don't give ourselves enough credit for that, like even if you don't think you're good at managing your time, like you're getting shit done every day.
Yeah.
And you're like just slaying the day all day, every day for everyone else. But what you're not really good at typically as a mom is including yourself in that plan, is prioritizing yourself, your goals, your dreams, whatever makes you feel fulfilled, your self-care, all of it. And so when I wrote that book, that's really what I had in mind, because I have suffered with that. I know many moms suffer with that. And, the guilt, the this, the that, it all plays a part in how you manage your time as a mom. Because like I said, we've got a piece of that puzzle kind of already figured out by default, but we don't have this part nailed down.
Yeah.
And so that's really where that came to be, and sort of the concept of what that means.
I love that. I love that you put a spin on this to really cater to what it's like for moms, because it is different when you're not a mom, right? Like it is different when you're single even. And I'm just really glad that you're here to teach us that it's okay that we feel this way and that there's a better way, right? Because I for sure don't want to live as a stressed out mom forever, right? That's terrible, because that ends up with me yelling more, or just like not enjoying my life and just looking forward to bedtime all the time and not really living. I'm just like surviving until the kids move out and I have more freedom to myself, right? And so I want to ask you, what are some things that you often hear moms say when it comes to time management, or even just about time in general?
Ooh, do you want to guess the phrase I hear most often?
I don't have time.
Yeah, that's it. That's totally it. You nailed it. You nailed it. So I hear this all the time from clients. I used to be guilty of saying this like all day, every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about speaking these words and saying this is, like with anything, when you believe something like this, it becomes your truth.
Yes.
Time becomes scarce. There is never enough time. You never feel like there's time for what you actually want or need to do. And unfortunately, that's the case for many moms out there. And it's partially because of this belief and these words we're speaking. And it's also partially because we see it all around us and we feel like that's just what it is. The season we're in is just going to be like busy AF, stressful AF. We're looking forward to the naps, the wine, and that's
Mm-hmm.
not really how it has to be.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. And I am guilty of doing that in the past. And, sometimes I still notice that I do that when I forget to take care of myself. And like you said, prioritize myself, make time for myself. And there is truly nothing better than knowing that you can be present in the moment instead of rushing off to the next thing or worrying about the next thing, but you're actually able to enjoy where you are in that specific second of time. Like whether you're hanging out with your kids, whether you're hanging out with your partner, whether you're going on a walk and you're just noticing like the leaves move with the wind, right? Like imagine not constantly being in motion and constantly
Right.
being busy. So I totally get this. And there are
Yeah.
so many
It's like,
moms out there who are in that phase right now.
yeah. And it's kind of like, ugh, I might get some hate for saying this, but people wear the busy badge like a badge of honor.
Oh my God, yes, the martyr.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Totally. I know you can agree with me on that. Yeah. Like, so anyway, so when you find yourself saying this all the time and you start to really believe it and embody it, well, that becomes your life. It's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
you have this scarcity mindset when it comes to time. And we both know having a scarcity mindset about something is never good, because the thing that you're feeling scarce about, it never comes to you, right? It's never abundant in that way. Like you're not just going to wake up one day and all of a sudden have time to get that massage or hang out with your partner or, fulfill that goal that you want to do, because you're too stuck in this mindset of not having it.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is that when we start to talk about time in that way, in that scarcity frame of mind, that's where the overwhelm comes from.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what needs to be done. It's the idea of, oh, I don't have enough time. And so then we
Totally.
get into that spiral where we feel really overwhelmed. Maybe we have a good cry about it. And meanwhile, like you're not actually in the mindset of being able to figure it out, which, hello, you're a mom. You are so good at figuring shit out. you are so good at it. Right. And if you're not
Yeah.
familiar with Marie Forleo, she has this book called like Everything is Figure Outable or something to that effect.
Yes.
And so true. So true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about your advice. Like, lend us your expertise here. What advice do you have when it comes to time management and multitasking, just getting shit done without feeling overwhelmed?
Okay. I have so much to share. I know we have limited time. Let's start with that mindset piece since we were just chatting about it.
Yeah.
So I want to challenge you, if you're listening, if you find yourself thinking, speaking, believing that concept that I don't have time, the next time that comes to you or you say those words out loud, I want you to flip the script. I want you to say, instead of I don't have time, it's not a priority to me.
Yes.
Okay. So let's exemplify this for a minute. Let's talk about, I don't have time to work out. A lot of moms say this. I used to say this
Yep.
all the time. And there's no judgment, by the way, if you do say this.
Oh my God,
again,
none at all.
Yeah. So let's say you find yourself saying, I don't have time to work out. I want you to replace that with, it's not a priority to me to work out. And one of two things is going to happen. You're going to either feel one way or feel another. And to me, they are both winning. Okay.
Yes.
So on one sense, you say those words out loud. It's not a priority to me. And you're like, well, you know what? Shit, it's not. It's not a priority to me.
Yeah.
And you instantly feel lighter. You feel less shame. You feel less guilt.
Yes.
And you kind of just like move on with your day with a little more pep in your step, right? Because it's all good. It's all good. Like, even if it's just this temporary season you're in, that it's not a priority to you, great. Now, at least you're not like shooting all over yourself that you should be working out, you should be going to the gym, you should be doing this, right? Done. Let go of it.
Yeah. Own your choice. Own your choice.
Yes, totally. So that's one way. Good. Winning. The other way is you don't feel quite as good when you say this out loud, right? Working out isn't a priority to me, and something feels off, feels icky, it feels misaligned. And you're like, okay, well, actually, it is a priority to me. So what do I need to do to make it a priority? And you will find, I guarantee you're going to find a creative solution to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to wake up earlier. You're going to go to bed later. You're going to use a lunch hour, nap time. You're going to fit it in 10-minute increments here and there. You're going to find a way to make it a priority if it is indeed one in your life.
Yeah, it's pretty magical what we can make happen when we're really motivated to do something, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, other tips and advice, I would say, if you find that you're in that state of overwhelm, as we talked about before, you got to get it all out of your head. So the mental load is real. It's real. It's heavy when you're a mom. There's a lot of stuff swirling around in there, you know, between all the roles you juggle, all the jobs you have, just all the responsibilities. And that really tends to take up precious time, space, real estate in there. And that's what makes you feel foggy, makes you feel unmotivated, makes you get that analysis paralysis that you don't even know where to start because you're like, even if I do this one thing, it's not going to make a real dent in everything I need to get done. So I'm just going to actually pick up my phone and scroll social media and like numb out. For
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So first step, get it all out of your head. Get it down on paper, just brain dump it, like word vomit it, every single thing. It doesn't have to look pretty. Just get it all out on a piece of paper. Now, the mistake people make when they do this step is they look at this really overwhelming, like hot mess, disorganized list, and they still feel overwhelmed because they want to dive in and try to attack it. And that list, it could be really long, right? It could be like the length of
like
a
CVS
receipt.
Yes. How are we? Okay. If you can't tell, we're friends.
We're friends. Okay. So so people make the mistake that they brain dump and then they start working off of that as their to-do list. And that's not that helpful, right? Because maybe you're feeling super motivated right then and there to like power through some things, but come the next day or come the next day after that, that list is going to feel really overwhelming in itself.
Yeah.
So I want you to look at that list and I want you to hone in on three things daily that you can absolutely hold yourself accountable for, get done, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to feel accomplished, productive, proud that you got that done. Not like, oh my God, I only got 3 things done. No, those are the 3 things. That's it. That's what you committed to. So circle them, highlight them, do whatever it takes to have them stand out. And when you get either those pockets of free time, or if you want to be more organized and kind of strict with yourself, pop them on a calendar, time block them, whatever works for you. And those are what you focus on. Like, you have a laser focus on what you're going to get done. There are 3 things, totally doable, and make it happen.
Oh, I love that one. Because when you have direction, that's a game changer, right? When you have this like never ending CVS long list, right? It's really, really overwhelming to the point where, like you said, you just want to like, forget it. Just throw your hands up in the air, like, forget it. Like, whatever I do, it's not going to make a difference anyway. I'm just going to have more shit to do and then add more shit anyway. Like, what's the fucking point? Right.
Yeah.
And so I really love this because it gives you permission to feel done. And how often do moms give themselves permission to feel done and to celebrate?
Always more to do. There's always more to do. Yeah, totally.
Exactly. And then anything extra that you get done, it's just like, damn, winning even more.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Overachiever. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, right. Like, have your standards of those 3, but if you have energy and time, go for it. Or you can be like, I deserve a break now.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Is there anything else you want to share that you feel like is a must know? If you wanted to like shut it out from the rooftops, like every mom needs to know this, what would that be?
Oh, so much coming to mind. I would say, want to talk about multitasking for a minute?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So most moms I talk to tell me they multitask, right? Mm-hmm. Do you multitask?
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah.
How can you be a woman and not?
Right. And here's the thing, like, most experts out there, because you and I both are big in like personal development, professional development. We follow a lot of similar experts, probably some different ones too. A lot of those experts are really cut and dry in saying, don't multitask.
Yes.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I respect that opinion. I believe it to be true to a certain extent because, look, these are really successful people that I admire and aspire to be like. But also, I'm a mom of 4 kids and I keep it real. So,
and that's why we love you.
Yeah. Let's just like understand the fact that not everyone listening, myself included, we don't all have like a staff helping us every day at home.
Yes.
Right. Maybe if we're running our own businesses, we're solopreneurs potentially, wearing a lot of hats in there. If we're employees, there are a lot of demands in that sense. If you're a stay-at-home mom, geez, that is the hardest job, most underpaid one too, in my opinion. Yep. There are a lot of things going on. So to me, in my house, and I know in most people listening, multitasking is kind of essential to get the job done, right? The kids got to get fed, the work's got to get done, like things got to keep moving. And it does fall a lot of times on our shoulders. So I'm not going to sit here and be hypocritical and be like, don't multitask, because I know that's just impossible for many people. But what I will say is that multitasking, like deciding what to multitask, is crucial. Because on the opposite side of that, when you think about multitasking, what comes to mind? Like, what vision do you see? What do you think of? I think of like stressed, frazzled, like a juggler waiting for like,
that image with like the woman with a million hands, right? Yeah. Just doing something different in each hand. That's what I see.
Yeah. And there's usually not a smile on that person's face.
With messed up hair and all that, like looking
the
disheveled.
Running. Yeah, yes. Totally. Yeah. So you don't want to be on that end of the spectrum either, right? Because that's the thing. Like when you're multitasking the wrong things or everything, as some people try to do, you feel like that. And that's not the way you want to feel. I want to feel, you want to feel, any of us. So you got to decide what can you multitask and what can't you? And how I like to guide people in this way is that you multitask the mindless and you
Yes.
solo task the mindful.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean? You multitask things that you can basically do on autopilot, things that come so naturally to you, things that if you messed them up a little bit because you weren't fully focused, wouldn't be the end of the world. Everything would be okay. Wouldn't be like a huge, thing you have to clean up, right?
Yeah.
Solo tasking, on the other hand, these are things you want to be fully present for. You want to be focused. And when I think about things like this, just to exemplify, so like multitasking, I think about like a lot of home stuff, laundry,
Yes.
cleaning up the
Dishes.
kitchen, right? Yeah, all that stuff. Like, and I don't even love doing a lot of that stuff. So
Yep.
when I multitask these things, I'm also bringing more joy to my life at that time. Maybe I'm listening to a podcast. Maybe I'm listening to this podcast. You
Hey.
know, hey, maybe I am, listening to an audiobook, chatting with a friend, maybe I'm exercising and listening to something during that time. So I think about things like that I could do, even like things for your business, if you're
Mm-hmm.
self-employed, where you could be absorbing some content that's going to be helpful for you and
Yes.
spark an idea. And then on the solo task side, I think of things like having dinner with my family. I don't want to be checking my phone, doing
Definitely.
while I'm talking to my kids, while I'm talking to my husband. When I'm working on a work project, I want to be in the flow and focused and not getting interrupted every 3 minutes so that I'm not trying to get like stressed out and impatient with my kids, or I'm not trying to lose my $1 million idea that's coming to mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my flow there. So, really think about that. And I know if you're listening, you might be like, well, it's not that easy. I don't have childcare, or I'm trying to juggle. You can make this work. You can make this happen. For a year plus, I was a corporate executive running my business in a pandemic,
Mm.
homeschooling my kids, guys. And I know I'm not special here. I know many of you had to do this too. And it wasn't the least stressful time of my life. I will tell you that. Like, it was hard,
Yeah.
but you figure out ways so that you are able to fully solo task things that are important, right? Because when you are juggling and trying to multitask those things, it doesn't feel good.
No. No, because then I remember when I first started my business, I didn't have childcare. I had my son who's now 5, but he was like, I don't know how old. I don't want to math right now, but like I was watching him or like taking care of him, and I was trying to work, and I was like multitasking two really important things, right? Like raising my son, building my business. And I never at that time felt like I was doing anything well. And so that just invited more guilt and shame and overwhelm and stress and breakdowns. And I hated it. So I love that you're sharing with us that there are 2 different buckets here, right?
Yeah.
Multitask the mindless, winning, right? I love listening to audiobooks while I'm getting ready or while I'm doing dishes or catching up on my favorite shows while folding laundry or something, right? And then really, really giving your full attention to things that actually really, really matter and that you want to devote your full attention to. Like you said, dinner time. Like how awful would it feel if your husband was on his phone the entire time while you guys are like supposed to be having family time around the table,
Totally.
right? Our presence has so much impact, whether it's work stuff, personal stuff. And I just love that you differentiated that for us. So thank you so, so much. Cause that kind of made me feel bad. I'm like, oh, I do multitask a lot. I was like, oh no, it's okay to multitask that part.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no shame in it because that's totally the answer I get too. Like, people will be like afraid to raise their hand, or,
Mm-hmm.
say it in a way that feels really like shameful. And the thing is, like, no, we get it. You got to get it done. We totally
Yes.
understand. But here's a way to get it all done without feeling like you are, losing it,
Mm.
uh, losing your mind, whatever it is.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. All right. So I believe you have a 5-day experience coming up. Can
I
you share
do.
with us what it is, when it's happening, and who it's for?
Absolutely. Thank you. So, yes, this is called Time Momagement, the free 5-day experience. It kicks off on Monday, June 13th. And it is going to be, well, it's actually 6 days, to be honest, because I give you a little
Oh,
bonus day in there.
nice.
Gift giving is one of my love languages. So I'm doing that. So yeah, for 6 days, we are going to be doing live daily trainings in all things time management for moms. We are going to be doing giveaways every day.
Oh,
So like different things that can help you really level up how you're managing your time, how you're living your life. Gosh, there's a community so you can network with other moms who are, wanting to level up in this space and meet new friends. And it's totally free. So yeah, I would love, love, love if you're listening, if this sounds like something you need in your life, please join us. Again, it kicks off on June 13th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. If you're not able to join us live, you definitely will have access to the replays, but hopefully I'll see you there.
oh, sounds amazing. And I signed up because I know that there's some more that I can learn. There's definitely way more efficiency plus presence I can add to my life because sometimes things get a little chaotic over here. All right. So, what's the best way for people to connect with you? Let's say someone's listening to this podcast and she's like, oh my gosh, Marisa can really help me. I need to learn more from her. Where can we find you?
Yes, if you feel like I'm your spirit animal, please head on over to my website. That's the best place to find me. It's mamaworkit.com, MAMA. And there you can access, you can subscribe to my free weekly newsletter. I send that every Wednesday with time management and productivity tips. You can sign up for the experience if you'd like to do that. You could even book a call with me, a free breakthrough call, and I would love, love, love to meet you there. So yeah, thank you so much. And I would love to connect with you if you found this talk helpful.
Yeah. And by the way, she's also a fellow podcast host. So go check out her podcast. Can you let them know what it's
Yeah.
called? I'll link everything
Yeah.
in the show notes too.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's called the Mama Work It podcast, on brand right there. And yeah, we were just ranked number 21 of the top 50 podcasts for moms this year by Podcast
Congrats.
Magazine. Thank you. I know it's like I feel so honored when I get things like that. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
thank you, universe. Yeah.
I love it. All right. So before I let you go, for fun, I love to ask guest questions so that our listeners can get to know you a bit better. Are you ready?
I am so ready. Let's do it.
All right. Let's go. So, what's a food that you can eat every day and never get sick of it?
Oh, this is hard to narrow down. I'm going to tell you two.
Okay.
Pizza and chocolate.
Yeah. I love it. How
Yeah.
very Italian of you, by the way.
Right? I mean,
All right.
I'm glad I don't eat them every day, but I probably could.
Oh my gosh. I know. As a fellow foodie, I totally understand having a hard time narrowing it down to one answer. So I'm here for it. Where's your favorite place to vacation?
What's that? No, just kidding.
I know.
Just kidding. That's a hard question. I mean, I love culture and travel and kind of like always visiting new places and new countries. And I haven't done that in a long time now that I've got a very large family.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just honestly, like someplace new. I'm not
Yeah.
the type that like always wants to go to the same spot.
Okay. Where would you go if you had the opportunity to go anywhere you wanted right now?
I think I would go to New Zealand.
Ooh, yeah.
I
Beautiful.
haven't been to New Zealand, and we have a former au pair who stayed with us for a year and a half. She was so wonderful, and she lives there now. And I think it would be so fun to visit her, but also like explore this country that I've never been to.
Yeah, I like it. That's definitely on my list too. All right. This is probably one of my favorite questions. What's your favorite trashy TV show?
Ooh, God. Probably Real Housewives of Anywhere, but
Okay.
I'll be honest, I haven't watched it in the longest time because I cut myself off from that when my third son was born. I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. And I just totally cut Bravo like out of my life. Nothing against Bravo. I just needed like a cleanse. And I stayed clean since then. I've like Bravo sober. I only watch it like if I'm traveling and like at a hotel or something. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Congrats. I'm sure that was tough.
It was hard. Yeah, but we made it happen.
Yeah. All right. What's your favorite thing to do for self-care?
I like to like walk or run outside. I think
Yeah.
that's always a great way to just clear my head and practice some self-care. But also, I mean, I'm very eclectic. So sometimes I like to like organize something at home. Sometimes I like to just connect with friends and, do something with them. So it just really depends on the day, time of day, so many things. But
Yeah, I love that. I don't think I do any one thing all of the time. It's just like, what do I feel like doing right now? Let's go do that. Just as long as you're
yeah,
making time for it is all that matters.
yeah. Some people think it's
Yeah.
weird, but honestly, like when I don't know, if I get in a mood and I just want to like declutter, that fills my soul.
Agreed. Agreed. And
Yeah.
also, if you ever feel like decluttering and you have nothing to declutter at home, you're welcome at my house.
I don't know if I love it that much.
Okay, next question. What's something you said you'd never do when you become a mom that you now do?
Ooh, so many things. Um, hmm. I don't know, like be super into sports. Like I have four
Oh,
boys and I never
yeah.
thought I would be like that mom that's super like into the sports, but I'm learning and I'm getting into it. Like we've been watching the Warriors games
Oh
here
my
at
gosh.
home
Go
and like
Warriors. Yes.
did I ever think I'd be watching like NBA basketball games in my house? No, but here we are and it's fun.
Yeah.
So,
And tonight, well, when we're recording, tonight's the
yes.
first game of the finals. I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
totally same.
All right. What's something you're really looking forward to these days?
Hmm. We are taking, some trips, so definitely
Mm,
looking forward to that. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's always just like whenever I make my list for the week of like all the things I want to, you know, spend time on and accomplish, like there's always, even though it's work, a lot of it, there's always stuff on there that just like gets me excited. Like this week, I was going to be a guest on this podcast. Like that, I was looking forward to it.
yeah.
So like even small things like that, I like to look forward to. And this, but not to say this is small, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. Yeah. I love it. What's your favorite song to jam out to?
Oh my God. I like a lot of songs, a lot of music. Um, ooh, hmm. I've really been enjoying Lizzo lately.
Yes.
I've been rocking out to that a lot lately, and the Harry Styles song that's on the radio. My son and I like to rock out to that in the car.
Oh, that's so
What
cute.
is it called? I don't even know. I'm not that cool.
I know I used to be so good at like knowing song names, but ever since I've had kids, I'm like, yeah, that one person.
Right? Yeah. I know. Well, there's like, very limited capacity here for things like that.
Totally. Yeah. That doesn't make the cut.
Yeah. But I'm honestly not even that like trendy. So like it's funny that I named two popular songs right now because I listen to a lot of like old school stuff too, like
90s music.
2000s pop
Yes.
or hip hop. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I mean, biased here, but obviously that is like the best music ever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. Let's call a spade for sure.
Right? Well, I'm so thrilled that you were able to be a guest on the show. And thank you so much for imparting all your knowledge and your advice and tips with our audience here. And I cannot wait to attend your experience. And if you loved what you heard here, please go follow her, go listen to her podcast, show her some love, tell her you found her from this podcast. And I'll catch you guys next week. Thanks again, Marisa. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
If you like this podcast, then you'll want to join my private Facebook community, Marriage and Motherhood. The fights and the disconnect you're currently experiencing doesn't have to be how things go for the rest of your life. If you're ready to give your marriage a makeover, come join the Marriage and Motherhood community to learn how to create a healthy, happy, and connected marriage that you actually enjoy and your kids can look up to. Thank you so much for listening to the Marriage and Motherhood Podcast. I hope that this episode helped you deepen your relationship with your husband and, more importantly, with yourself. I hope to see you inside the Marriage and Motherhood community, and I look forward to supporting you in there. Otherwise, see you back here next week. Bye.